Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Antonio, back with another video today. Well, it's evening time right now. It's actually a pretty good day today. Today is the new Leo full moon. So, it's a little bit after dark. I come outside to the park and sort of a ritual now. On full moons, I like to just go out in nature a little bit, go out to like the water, a lake, or like the park. Usually has been the park the last few moons. It's not really too many people out here at nighttime, of course. Interestingly enough, right now there are some kids, some young black folks. They're out here skateboarding on the list, so you might actually hear some banging and clacking there. I don't know, out here practicing their ollies, look like. But yeah, something of a habit or a ritual that I started to do is come out on the full moon, and sometimes I'll walk through the grass barefoot, but it's just a big park. Of course, I've shown you guys the park during the daytime, so this is what it looks like at nighttime. You can see the garden behind me. Yeah. But so what I wanted to talk about this evening is something that I've been contemplating on, one of my concepts. That's not foreign. I just want to reinterpret it in my own way. I wanted to kind of explain, future and technology and things like that. I wanted to talk about energy and stars. So before I can get into stars, I would have to explain energy. Energy is never, lost or destroyed. It's just transferred from one entity or one dimension to the next. You see it happen all the time when, plants or animals or people go through an evolutionary stage or things like that. You plant a seed and it turns into like a giant oak tree or something like that. Or when the single cell organism, it evolved into a multicellular organism over time. These are just things that, this is energy expanding. So with energy, the most important thing right now with mankind, which is something that Tesla tried to solve 100 years ago, or wanted to help bring to the forefront of existence 100 years ago, which is universal energy, unlimited energy. Before we can even begin to get into like artificial intelligence, AI, the singularity. Even when these scientists talk about big bangs and how the world was created, they also have to talk about how worlds are ending as well. But we're the people, we've come a long way. We've harnessed, the energy and things like that to do things like have cars and cell phones and just enjoy the everyday luxuries and things that we have, TVs and things like that we just have gotten used to over time. But it's energy, it's that fire, it's that light, it's that thing that helps ground us for the most part. Sometimes we can kind of overdo it. Fire can burn your house down, but it's just humans. I equate everything to magic. Magic not necessarily being some all-powerful metaphysical thing that you can't see. It all starts with your mind and what you can conceive and how you can use the natural resources around you to harness those efforts. It's up to the person whether it's going to help you or hurt you. Sometimes a natural herbalist or a shaman can use herbs, give you a natural tincture, give you some teas or some soups to help heal you, versus the traditional doctors that we have nowadays in Western culture that are trying to extract the so-called positive or negative properties out of these same herbs and turn them into drugs and things like that. But these are all things that we learned how to harness over time with the power of energy and the power of fire. It's getting to the point now where everything is energetic now. We're moving into the age of Aquarius. I've talked before about big conjunctions and small conjunctions and things like that. going into the age of Aquarius, which is going to be like a big conjunction. Things are going to become easier. Aquarius is an air sign, so it's going to be a breath of fresh air for everything. Even with this new Leo moon, Leo's, standing your power, of course. Even with being in the age of Aquarius and this new moon, it's like air brings a fresh air through everything. So all Leos are gonna have a second wind. Everyone is gonna have a second wind. Full moons affect everyone. But it's energy, it's expansion. Even with the cell phones have, we have to use cell phones as the modern wand, or as a modern torch, or as a modern lamp. As the hermit would do. I'm recording on this phone right now, so that's just the power of energy in the cell phones. But they're gonna get to a point where, I'm sure these boys in Silicon Valley already have this type of technology. Most of the taxes in this country is spent towards, military weapons and things like that, or military research. Of course, the military, before things like cell phones and laptops and Humvees and all these things were legal to the public, these were government projects, government experiments and contracts and things like that were not released to the public. Now it's commonplace for a soccer mom to drive around in a Hummer with no care for the world. This used to be a military vehicle, but you got these soccer moms out here driving around in a yellow Hummer or pink Hummer that gets 10 miles to the gallon. It's like, no, you don't need to be releasing those types of things out to the public. But at some point there, I'm pretty sure they're going to have cell phones that, have unlimited energy, that don't no longer need to be plugged into a wall. I'm sure we remember gaming consoles. Gaming consoles at one point, you had to, they recorded. Now we just gotten so used to, cordless remotes or remote controls that we don't even remember when we had the tangled remotes and things like this, and we had to find the memory cards and all this. So it's energy, and energy is all connected at this point. So we don't even have to have memory cards at this point. Everything gets saved up in energy. So it's just things like that. And people are having addictions to energy and technology and things like that, on these crazy apps like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter all day. And now we have Clubhouse. So once that thing comes out of its beta stage and goes to the public, and mind you, whoever owns Clubhouse has been able to raise $1 billion of funding during its beta stages. So just things like that, and people are already spending 12, 18 hours straight on these apps. So just imagine a world where everyone's already looking down like this, like they're being hung, literally blocking off their throat chakra, and they're all just, on cell phones with unlimited energy on this app all day. Because that's really the only thing that's holding some people back. Their cell phones are dying and they can't really, do what they want to do. But imagine a world full of people with cell phones that had unlimited energy. They're just trying to figure out a way to market this thing to people, like 5G, and you're going to have Wi-Fi and everywhere in public and things like that, because that's how it is overseas. So that's just energy. It's going to, at some point, a fire can overtake it. That's what happens over in California with these brush fires. You have to be careful with this energy. But so that's my explanation on fire or unlimited energy resources and things like that. We can't let these things distract us or let technology overtake us to a point. It's a good tool. These things have always run hand in hand or side by side with man. The wheel has always run side by side with man when it was invented, and everything else under the sun. So that goes into what I wanted to talk about next in regards to energy. We have the sun. We have stars. What are stars? When we are on Earth, we look at them as, they said it best in Lion King, big balls of energy burning billions of miles away. That's unlimited energy, supposedly. But anyone that knows science or even knows about how the Big Bang was formed, energy comes from somewhere. And when it begins, it also has to go away. So, what is a star? It's energy. What do we call our celebrities here on Earth? We call them stars. So what's a planetary body, like your astrology sign, or what's your sign, your birthday? Are you Aries, or are you a Virgo, or are you a Cancer, or different things like that? These are star systems. These are planetary bodies. These are stars. And what do what do we do here on Earth? We praise celebrities. We praise stars. Stars basically, when you know your aspects of your birth chart, or you go more deeper into hermetic practices and esoteric thinking, stars, they bring their energy down to the planet. Again, this planet was created from stardust. You were created from stardust. Everything is a singularity. This universe started from all the same matter, all the same energy. It's just being reinterpreted in different waves, and patterns, whether it's number coding and images, whether it's ultraviolet rays, whether it's sound, whatever type of impact or pressure. There's different laws. But yeah, that's why you want to learn yourself, so that you can become a better person. Because once you know your aspects, you can know your strengths and your weaknesses, and to give you more of a direction of how you want to move in this life. Having a plan is probably the best backup plan. But no, so what? When you know your astrology sign and you realize, you're born on this earth at a certain point, or a certain time, or a certain place, and things like that, you can look up your astrology sign, and then you think, okay, if I'm a star, if I'm made from stardust, what are my abilities? So what do each star, each planetary body, whatever, when you research these different planetary bodies, what, different signs, or different symbols, or different written stories, or just different collaborations over time through different authors and research poets and things like that. What do they bring together, or what aspects of these different conjunctions make up the type of person that you are? So for Libra, that Libra, that even when you look at the picture of what they interpret as the sign of the Libra, not necessarily when you look at the constellation of the Libra, or when modern artists paint each sign of the zodiac, the Libra is the scale. So basically, what does a scale do? A scale balances things out. Or that's one way that people interpret the scale. It can also be the scale of justice, or the scale of bartering or trade and things like that, or traveling. So those are some type of things that if you were born a Libra, these are some of your strong points. Also, what do Libras not don't like, or what are they hard at? It's hard for them to make a decision, because remember, Libra is all about balance. So it would be hard for them to balance one side and not go back to the other side. It's always about balance. They can see things from a different point of view. So you go on and on and on, and you do more research, and you have life experiences, and you learn more about yourself over time. Try to become the best person that you can be. Stay on your destiny, because if you fall out of line, if you don't do what you are supposed to do, what you came here, what abilities you came here to do, you are always going to be getting into trouble. You're going to always be unhappy. You're going to always be frustrated. So that's why I encourage people to learn their astrology signs, learn their whole chart, the sun, moon, rising, Venus, learn the houses, learn just everything associated with, if you put a little bit of astrology in your life, it'll help you a long way. Not saying that you have to go and research everything about these different ideas that definitely help some people along the way. Some people will look at you crazy when you do these different things. People will look at you weird when you learn a second language. And these are like some of the simple things. When people look at somebody that they don't think should know a language, and then all of a sudden you just start speaking that language, and they're like, "What? I didn't know you speak that language." It's the same thing with people. You just got to realize you have to be yourself at the end of the day, and you can't please everyone. But I think that's about it. No, there's something else that I wanted to probably get off my chest as well, but I can't think of it right now. Oh yeah, so people are always going to look at you weird. Just look at the different artists and the different famous people that contributed things to society. People will look at Tesla like a weirdo. People will look at Einstein like a weirdo. People will look at Aleister Crowley as a weirdo. People looked at different people like Marcus Garvey as like a weirdo. Like, you can't be from Jamaica and still practice Pan-Africanism. But these different people were all looked at at outcasts at some point, or as like weirdos, but they all were able to create great things, inspire people. And that's what the angels did. That's what some of the Nephilim did as well. I mean, you really got to get other interpretations. If you were a Christian, you got to get different interpretations of the Bible. There are certain books that were left out of the Bible as well, like the book of Enoch and things like that, that tells you about these other beings, or how the angels, they weren't supposed to come down to earth, but things like that, but they fell in love with humans and they came down, and they bound themselves to flesh, and they got stuck here pretty much, because that was their their punishment. God told them not to come down here and interfere with people, but they love people so much, and so that people were just children. They came down here and they gave us the knowledge. You can make fire, right? Like 1 + 1 is 2, right? Like you can make weapons and things like that, right? These are the things that angels did. This is ancient knowledge. This is sacred knowledge, and it doesn't have to be some light being came out of somewhere. These are the stars. These are planetary bodies, and every religion has a certain type of knowledge or a certain type of practice. Rome might call it soul, and English people might call it sun, and another people might call it, or a different culture might call the sun something else. It's all, or morning star. It's always something different. It's just different interpretations. That's why magic is all about language. It's all about expression. It's all about communication. And that's where you can communicate your ideas to people. The better and the easier life is going to be, for you. So you should always be trying to cultivate new languages, or try to understand people more. Even if you have to distance yourself from people, it's going to be easier transition to distance yourself from people when the communication is more clear, versus ghosting people, and people are going to always want to have closure for whatever reason and things like that. But you can't tell people how to react. But that's just basically what it is. Certain people are light beings, or gifted people, or angels, or your ancestors, or whatever the case may be, are going to show you signs, going to help guide you to become the best person that you're meant to be. And everyone's not out here or meant to, sit at the round table of kings and queens and figure out what's going to be the plan. We have to, all the great minds, all the spiritual leaders and teachers will have to get together at some point and figure out what's going on. But first, you have to figure out who you are first. Are you the Einstein of your generation or your culture? Are you the Tesla of your culture? Are you the Oscar Wilde of your culture? Are you the Martin Luther King of your generation? Again, these are all great heroes, great stars, great planetary. They were born under great planetary bodies and aspects that gave them certain traits to help them stand out, or to help them perform miracles and things like that. So that's really how you have to think about, when I talk about astrology, or when you hear people, or you see people on Facebook posting about, their astrology signs and things like that, and people really don't have the knowledge to really debate you back and forth on these things. They're just following trends and fads and waves and things like that. Just like how people use words and they don't really know what they mean. They'll say something and you ask them what it means and they don't know. So recently I had to start posting, dictionary words and snapshotting dictionary words and posting it online, just so people can start becoming more aware of the things that they're doing. It's not necessarily stabbing back at people. It's just more of an enlightening, raising the consciousness and awareness of the people and the culture and the planet. We can all do better, especially if we know better. The age of Aquarius, it's all about communication. It's all about thought patterns. It's all about your mind. It's all about eccentric ways of speaking and talking, learning new languages, the exploration of technology and things like that. Technology is going to merge with the spirit world. That's why certain people are able to produce certain jobs. A spiritualist is able to get on YouTube and read tarot and things like that. These things are going to happen. The singularity or the artificial intelligence is not. It has to bow as well to energy, regardless. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my rant. That's what happens on the full moon. Didn't I tell you, lunatics? Come out to the park on the full moon night and just have an all-out rant about energy and stars. Learn your astrology sign. Learn your aspects. Learn about planetary bodies. It's good to learn about, hair extensions. Is cool to learn about, all these different things, how to get the biggest biceps in the gym and things like that. But the more you know yourself, the more you know what your skills, what your talents, and what techniques you should be using. Different stars or different planetary bodies or different aspects or astrology signs, different body parts match up with these different areas. For instance, Pisces are dancers. Libras, it rules the back, the lower back. So when you know these things and you practice these different, ancient hermetic, secrets or things like that, once you start to begin to understand them, it'll make life a whole lot easier for you. It's like a yellow brick road laid right out in front of you, Dorothy. But it's kind of funny because I know a couple YouTubers or a couple tarot readers that they nickname they nickname their followers and things like that, different names. Dorothy, that's a funny one. Yeah, man, but that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I came out here with my phone a little bit low on energy, so I'm about to close this one out anyway. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight on energy, how to think about energy, how to harness energy. Energy, again, you can weigh energy, but in order to keep a positive state of mind and begin to even think about these things, you have to stay on the high frequency. Keep your heart chakra open. Stay on the frequency of love. It's going to help you share these things and help you communicate easier. It's going to open up abundance for you and for the people around you. So that's about it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Be safe. Have a good one.